Hi everyone, it's Brendan again, and today I'm going to be doing day 2 of 30 days of Solidity. So today is going to be savemyname.sol, and so I'm going to create a profile, make a smart contract with a name and a bio, and then store text using strings inside of the smart contract storage, I guess, and then create functions to save and retrieve the information. So I think for save, I'm just going to use a function which you can pass in a name and a bio, and then I'm also going to create, actually I won't create any methods to retrieve the information. Right? Just make the name and the bio fields, the smart contract storage variables public, and so then Solidity compiler will automatically generate a getter function for those. Alright, so it demonstrates storing and retrieving data from the blockchain, etc. Okay, cool. Let's do that. So that's day 2. And going to remix, I have prepared over here, right, this file called save my name, and I have already copied over the description that I just read into this, and so ready to go. So firstly, what I'll need is to create string name equals, and then duplicate that and make it for bio. So now I'll have name and bio, and I will have a automatically generated getter as well. Actually, no, I don't. Public and public. Now I'll have an automatically generated getter. Alright, so I have a function called name and bio now. Now I'll need a way for me to set the values. So this one I actually need to create a function. So function update, it'll have to be public or external, I guess. And then name equals to something and bio equals something. Right, and so I'll have to pass in string new name and string new bio. So then I'll pass in new name and new bio, and that's fairly straightforward. Now, string cannot just be a string because it is not a primitive value, so it has to be, as the compile error says, memory call data, etc. I'm just going to go for memory as the default, and I have to new bio. Alright, that should do it. Yep, this is public, this is public. Okay, so I've got to save my name smart contract, ready to go. So let's press compile. Alright, now go to deploy. Right, so I am going to use an account and press deploy. So I've got a new save my name function, save my name smart contract. And so if I want to update it, I can put in a name called foo, and then a name called a bio called bar. Right? If I transact that, then my bio is now bar and name is foo, alphabetical order, not the same as the parameter order. Now, if I change it to foo and bafu, then if I press transact, now my bio is bafu and my name is fufu. Okay, silly sounding names and bios, but demonstrates the point. All right. Now, one thing I'm not happy with, right, is that if I switch to a different account, right, let's say this one, I can, override the value. So I'll just do some random keystrokes, and now I've updated the bio and overwritten the previous value. And the reason for that is because there's only one name field and one bio field within this smart contract. So what I'm going to do is, I guess, slightly deviate from this particular smart contract, what the exercise is asking for, and say, I'm not going to use I'm not going to use the a single string for name and bio. I want to do it per account. So let's do this. So save my name per account. So this is going like sort of off topic from what's being asked here, right? So save my name per account, and instead of having a single name and bio, what I will do is change this to a mapping of address to several names and a mapping of address to several bios. So each address corresponds to one name and one bio. And so before I do that, I will just update the function, right? Where I will say I keep the parameters, new name and new bio, and use the implicit parameter for msg.sender. So this is how we know the address of the account that has made the transaction in which this particular smart contracts update function has been called. So what I'm going to do is names and then message.sender. So the key of the map is this account address, and then equals to new name, right? And that will replace that. And then I'll say bios message.sender is equal to new name, actually new bio, right? And then that will replace this one. So now I need to define these ones, right? So let's see, I'm going to change this to a mapping, and then I'm going to name them like that, and can't initialize them because they're not static values, I guess. And so for mappings, you need types. The key will be an address, so address type, and then that's the key type, and then the value type will be string, right? Like so, address string. So this should, I'm pretty sure this should compile, right? So I could go a step further and collect name and bio, two strings, into a struct and then have a single mapping, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself on this one. So I'm just going to go back to compiler and press compile save my name .sol, right? And then I'll go over here and I will collapse this one and I'll make a new deployment. So let's go back to the first account and press deploy. So now I have saved my name, and I also have saved my name per account, right? And this save my name per account has a different function, if you take a look at it. So this one has a single update function, which takes in name and new name and new bio. And this one also has an update function, right, which takes in name and bio. So far, the same. However, the bio function and the name function do not have any inputs, whereas here you are required to you need to do an input. So let's see. What I will do is I will first do from the original account, the deploy account. I'm just going to do foo-bar, and then I'll press transact, and that went through, as you can see in the terminal. Now, if I press call, it's going to error because the argument is missing. So what I need to do is I need to copy this address, right, 0x5b3, etc. Right, I just need to copy that over here and paste it in, right? So then I'm expecting the value of bar, there we go, and this one should be foo, there we go, right? So it's querying this bios, right, is querying a mapping. So when you query a mapping, you need to pass in one parameter, which is the key, and the key is the address, right? So now let's say I go ahead and change this to another address, right? So this is 0xab3 instead of 5b3, right? Or ab8, I think. Sorry, paste that, right? So this is 0xab8, and if I call that, I'm going to get an empty string. Because when a mapping is initialized, if there's no value in the key, then the default value or the zero value or the void value of the string will be an empty string. So let's say I call this Elmo and I'll say a red puppet in a TV show, right? And then I press transact, and now if I call it, it'll say a red puppet in a TV show for the bio, and then the name will be Elmo. And let's say if I go back to the first address that I initially deployed with and did the first transaction, 0x5b3, and I copy that address and I replace that over here and replace that over here, and if I press call, I'll get name foo and bio of bar. Now, I could go a bit further. Maybe I'll say function retrieve, I guess, and then I'll just have an implicit parameter of what do you call it? Public, I think, public. So the implicit parameter will be msg.sender, right? So I will return names message.sender and bios message.sender, like that. Actually, how do I return multiple values? Let me just look that up. Because I know it can be done, I just forgot. Aha. So it should be public view, I think, not pure. Right, and I can do that. Was it after public? Yeah, it was after public, after the visibility modifier. Okay, so returns string name and name string memory bio, and I don't need a third parameter, and then I will just say name equals name stat and bio equals bio stat. Why is that complaining? I need to return it like that. Alternative, I thought it could be named like that. Yeah, I should be able to. No explicit return statement. I think it should be view maybe. Public view returns. Alright, let's go back to the compiler and compile. Missed a semicolon. Compile. Alright, that was successful. Alright, so now I've got a retrieve function, and I'm going to deploy a second save my name per account function, smart contract. Right, I'm going to do a second one now. Let me call that save my name per account 2, just so I can tell them apart. And press deploy. Alright, so now I've got to save my name per account 2. And so now I've got an additional retrieve function. I've still got the public accesses here for bios and names if I want to use them. So let's say I press retrieve, right? I don't need to specify anything, right? I just get name and bio. Interesting. I was expecting to actually get the values, like foo and bar and whatnot. 88. I'll call. So now I'm using that account, but I don't need to copy it. If I press retrieve. Interesting. Multiple return values just returns the name of the parameter. Oh, that's right. It's empty because I haven't set it. It's a different account. Okay, so if I do an update, foo and bar, and I press transact, right? Now if I press retreat, it says foo and bar. And if I were to switch accounts back to 5b3, and then I do an update for, say, Elmo, and then say a red puppet, and then press transact, and then now press retrieve, I'll get that, right? And now if I switch back to the other account and I press retrieve, I don't have to copy paste the address this time because it's making use of msg.send, an implicit parameter. Then I get back foo and bar again. So yeah, that's it working. So I've got, I guess, the original save my name, demonstrated that, and now there's a save my name per account, which has a retrieve function as well. And it uses mappings to store the names, one per address, and buyers as well. All right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening.